This pivot table is going to attempt to answer question 4 here on the left-hand side. So we're asked to say to use a pivot table, show the lowest player age broken down by county, within county by code, and within code by stage. So there's 3 aspects, there's 3 layers, and there's 3 levels in it. Starting with county, then by code, and then by stage. And the second part of the question says ensure that the county and the code are kept in the rows zone in your pivot table, and that the stage details are kept in the are displayed in the column section of the pivot table. So over here on my right, I have my data. So I need my county, which is column F. I need my code, which is column G. Stage, column J, and age is column E. So I'm going to be going by county, by code, then by stage, and I'm getting the lowest age within each of those categories. So to insert a pivot table, I go to the insert menu, choose pivot table, check that I have the correct block of rows, check that I am in a new worksheet, and then proceed. So as the question says, I need county. So the order you select those in is important. It's very important. You need to go for county first, then by code, and then by stage. And then I'm looking for the lowest age. So I click on age, and Excel by default always sums up any numeric column you choose in the pivot table. So I need to go to my values zone here, and under values choose value field settings, and cancel sum by replacing it with min. So what this is telling me here is that in Cavan, under Camogie, the minimum age is 18. In Getty football is 23. In handball it's 20. And in ladies football is 23. So because it's layered the way it is, maybe a little bit more difficult to read than it needs to be. So what I'm going to do is I have the rows here. By default, all of the 3 components in the formula or in the pivot table pop into the rows section of your pivot table. So I have county, code, and stage. So I'm just going to move stage so it pops into the rows. And that makes the pivot table a small bit easier to follow and understand. So for Cavan, the values are, so it's within the county, then within the code, and then the code is stage. So Cavan and Camogie, the only Camogie it has is for PhD level, and that's the 18 is the minimum age there, and therefore the overall minimum age is 18. Similarly for Getty football, there's only one of the 4 or the 3 qualifications have been used. Same with handball, and so on. A better example to look at perhaps is Kerry. So in the Kerry data here, we have for Camogie, the lowest age at master's degree level is 23. At PhD level is 19. And at degree level is 19. So therefore, the overall minimum age among the Kerry Camogie cohort, irrespective of what they're doing, is 19. So then you see Kerry Gaelic football has, at master's level, 23 is the lowest age. At PhD level, 18 is the lowest age. And then in ladies football, is covering 3 of the 4 qualification categories, or all 3 qualification categories. There's under masters, it's 22 years of age is the lowest age. Under PhD, it's 20, and under degree, it's 18. So Kerry has a more comprehensive set of data to look at in that respect. So what we want to do, as I said, we have the pivot table now built, where we have the county and the code in the rows area. Columns contains the stage, and then we've got the minimum age. So that answers the question. We could go and start eliminating certain counties. We can collapse the counties if we want to here. So all we see is the individual county level. We don't see the detail level within each county. So I'm just collapsing them here one at a time. There we all we see now for Clare and Galway and Donegal and Kerry is the overall minimum values at the different categories. So you can expand that again by clicking on the plus sign and leaving it the way it was at the outset. So as I said at the start, this pivot table now shows the lowest player age broken down by county, within county by code, and within code by stage. So when you're looking at the output generated by the pivot table, it helps to try and exploit both the rows and columns feature. Don't include everything in rows like I had initially there. Typically, if you have more than 2 elements in the pivot table, go for both rows and columns, and it makes the data easier to understand and easier to follow. So that's the end of the clip.